Welcome, my friends. I'm Geo. In our last chapter, South Dome is dead, Central Dome is filled with smoke, and Madre, the AI that runs the colony, is unresponsive. Rias jury-rigged grav-lift AIs to form a new communication network so Nuestra could coordinate disaster relief efforts. Then a Dagger XF, one of the Raiders' ships, showed up and prepared to land at South Dome Airlock. And now, Chapter 25 of The Dark. South Dome, Medical, Rias. The Dagger XF is descending and will land next to the Dagger XF, my datapad said. A Dagger is already here, I said, and shivered in spite of the warmth of the vac suit. A ship just like it had almost killed my boyfriend, Ian, my best friend, Gutierrez, and the medic, Elias, only days ago. There's 2 Daggers here, Carla said, through the now-working comm network. She was one of the people trapped on the tram. I lay on my side, unable to move much, not after what Dr. Tanaka did to my back. I hadn't seen Dr. Tanaka since sometime yesterday. He left last night as I fell asleep in Ian's arms. My datapad and all the hundreds of nanite input tubes were crammed into the vac suit with me. Good thing I had made my new datapad waterproof. With all the nanite gel sloshing inside the suit, I felt stuck in warm, half-melted jello. No matter how I moved, I hurt. I'm opening your faceplate and giving you another injection, Captain Rowan said. With the datapads working, hers acted like a medical datapad, but instead of using the knowledge stored in Madre, she synced with the medical files stored in Elias's datapad, which was in North Dome. She gave me the practiced calm face all doctors have when they have to hide bad news. She pressed the injector on my neck, and whatever she used numbed the pain so I could think. I had to save my home. But Nuestra was damaged and barely functioned. Hector, be careful. There's 1 Dagger already landed and another coming in. What's the status of the airlock? I asked. I still don't like you, but I know when I owe an apology. When you took the renegade AI out of the airlock, you repaired the airlock like it was brand new. The Raiders weren't expecting that, and when they tried to sneak in, it wouldn't let them. They had to blow it open from the outside. Both doors are busted open, Hector said. It's a mess. Both doors are gone? Ian asked through the comm. He was somewhere in the bowels of medical, with Carruthers and Chef trying to restore emergency power before we froze to death. Why would they do something so horrible? Manuel said through the comm. He was somewhere between North Dome and the reactor, stabilizing power. Anybody know how many people are dead? I've sent some people to get a portable airlock, Hector said. I'm still trying to count living bodies, Karina said, breaking into the conversation. Gutierrez's pregnant wife sat in North Dome food court, tracking down people. I can't reach almost 60 people, and I'm having trouble reaching anybody who is on night shift. Rias, I'm sorry, but I can't find Dr. Tanaka and his team either. If they went to the food court last night, and were there when South Dome was vac'd, they wouldn't know where the shelters were, Ian said. 1/10 of our population is missing, presumed dead, Gutierrez said, also through the comm. He was in one of the tram tunnels trying to retrieve a stuck tram and bring the people on board back to safety. We have something more important. The Dagger is landing. Repeat, the Dagger is landing outside South Dome, Hector yelled, and a ragged image appeared on my faceplate of the remains of South Dome airlock and the Dagger descending outside. I ordered a drone to fly that direction so I could get a closer view. They're after the traitors, Perlita, Tristan, and Doc, and they don't care who gets in their way, Ian yelled through the comm. Rias, how many people can fit into a Dagger? Pilot, co-pilot, maybe 4 and back, but it wouldn't be comfortable, I said. Did you say Doc's in on this? Rodriguez said through the comm. He and his team were entering Central Dome to see what went wrong and find survivors. He sent Gutierrez, Elias, and me on Shuttle 2 so the Raiders would kill us instead of him, Ian said. Karina screamed and sobbed. Doc tried to kill my husband? I'm okay, love. Find those missing people. When I get back to North Dome, I'll tell you about how Ian saved us, Gutierrez said through the comm. 2 Daggers, 6 people each, and 3 traitors, Carla said. Do you hear that, Nuestra? We have up to 15 hostiles, and I bet they somehow caused the damage. The second dagger is preparing to land, Hector yelled. Datapad, move a second drone to South Dome airlock and behind the raiders, and give me a visual, I said. Hector, Carla shouted. Details. 5 people in vac suits just jumped from a ship hovering about 10 meters up. They have weapons, Hector said. Good Lord, they see us. Take cover, I yelled. Screams came over the comm network, then hisses. I knew that sound. The worst nightmare of anybody who lived in space. The sound of a vac suit losing oxygen, as heard by the internal comm systems. They're firing at us. 2 down. Find cover, everybody. Get out of here, Hector yelled. More sounds, more screams, more hisses. The image jumped around too much to understand what was going on. Then it stabilized, focusing on a planter with a flash-frozen dead tree in it. The camera didn't move. Hector didn't move. Hector's dead, I said. I couldn't tell you how many times we fought, but he could outdrink anybody at the bar, Rodriguez said. Be careful, people, I said. The drone moved in range of the airlock, and I sent the view to every datapad. 5 black vac suits with guns ran past the bodies of Hector and his team. Hector and his team lay still. A sick sourness filled my stomach. I didn't like Hector, and he didn't like me. According to rumor, he was Perlita's sometime lover. That hadn't protected him. He didn't deserve being gunned down while trying to save the colony. I would avenge him. Anybody in East Dome, I'm sending 3 drones your way. Attached to the 3 missiles Ian brought back. It's time to get serious. Rias, you're causing trouble again? Make sure you give it to the raiders, Gutierrez said. The second Dagger XF hovered, and by the way it trimmed its grav engine, it was about to land. Raiders have entered, I said. Anyone at South Dome airlock, respond. I hoped somebody would, but I wasn't surprised when no one answered. The raiders had done their job too good. Be advised, we have more raiders in South Dome, and they shoot to kill, I said. We've seen, Carla said, her voice grim. Rias, I can't find Alila. A voice broke in, frantic and yelling. Rafaela? What happened? I asked. We heard the emergency alarms. Then Dalila said that she had to protect you and disappeared, Rafaela said. I've looked everywhere. She's not on the tram with us. She has to be in North Dome, Carla said. My little sister was like me in a lot of ways. Smart, too independent for her own good, and when she had an idea, she acted on it. That left a possibility I didn't like. Karina, are all children in North Dome accounted for? I asked. They're currently housed at school, where their teachers are watching over them while the parents sort through this mess, Karina said through the comm. Except Dalila. Rafaela, check the airlocks. See if any of the emergency suits for children are missing, I said. Find out and get back to us, fast, Carla said. I'm running, Rafaela said. The black-suited figures of the raiders ran past the viewport, weapons raised. The lights suddenly blazed on in medical, then the hum of the internal atmospherics. We had heat, and all the exterior lights were on. One of the raiders paused and looked at medical. I can't believe it. We did it, Chef yelled. Medical is now open for business, Carruthers yelled from somewhere inside the building. Rias, I'm getting you upstairs and back into the null grav field, Ian said over the comm network. You can work your magic while floating. The raider walked over to medical. Weapon pointed our way. The person looked in the viewport. I was on the floor in a vac suit. Rohan was bringing sick people up front. Drendon sat in one of the chairs. Datapad, tap into that raider's comm system. What's he saying? I said. Decrypting, my datapad said. This isn't right, and I know you people can't hear me. I'm sorry, the raider said, lowering his weapon. He quickly ran to join his friends. I didn't say anything. Hector and his team had just died. Robinson had died. Emilio and the rest of CNC were still missing and presumed dead. Dr. Tanaka and his team were missing and also presumed dead. Who knows how many people had died when they blew the airlock? Hadn't the raiders killed enough of our people already? It was time to make more people mad at me. Datapad, Do these daggers have missiles? I asked. Negative, it said. I guess they learned their lesson, Ian said, walking up to me and taking a seat. He maneuvered me a little until my head rested in his lap. Are you okay? There's so much damage, I said. To Nuestra or to you? He whispered. I didn't answer. I'm not leaving. Do what you have to do, Ian said. I love you. I reached up and held his hand. Datapad, open a comm line to the daggers, I said. Wide angle, open band, make sure everybody can hear it. When the daggers respond, piggyback on their communications and shut those ships down. No life support, no engines, no weapons. Comm line is now open, my datapad said. Dagger XFs, because of your actions, a possible 60 innocent people are dead, I said. That makes you mass murderers. As the acting administrator of this colony, I pronounce judgment. Throw down your weapons and surrender, or I will destroy you. No response, my datapad said. Datapad, enlarge map of South Dome and show me the daggers. I gestured with my fingers. 2 daggers were outside South Dome airlock, with a man with a rifle standing guard. A pilot in each ship and a guard. That makes 3 of the 15. They were sitting targets. I didn't like Hector. I never knew Robinson. But Nuestra was my home. I could never leave to travel the stars or go to university. I had to have new dreams now, because Nuestra was my home for the rest of my life. These people had threatened it. That made this easy. I adjusted the angle of the closest drone and engaged full grav drive. The drone moved faster than my display could track. 1 second, there was a Dagger XF next to South Dome airlock. The next, the dagger exploded. That was for Robinson, I yelled over the comm. I brought another drone over. The second dagger began to lift off, but it wasn't fast enough. I adjusted the drone's angle and engaged full grav. Once again, my display couldn't keep up with the drone. A second explosion. That was for Hector, I said. Ian had destroyed 3, I had destroyed 2. Of the potential 12, only 7 daggers remained. Of the 15 raiders in my home, only 12 remained living. Datapad, find the frequency the raiders are using and let's listen in, I said. That took about half a second. The frequency is encrypted, my datapad said. Can you decrypt? I asked. Affirmative. Play and record. Be advised, Nuestra colony has destroyed your way off that rock. Repeat, Nuestra colony has fired missiles and destroyed both landed daggers, a voice said. They've destroyed our ships? How? A man screamed. We can't get out of here? We're sending other ships for immediate evac. Do you have the drone? A voice said. Affirmative. Team 1 is bringing it out of Central Dome, and we have our other targets secured and returning to the landing zone. Double time it, people, one of the raiders said. What landing zone? Another man screamed. This colony has missiles. Nobody said this colony was armed. Perlita lied to us. I didn't lie, Perlita yelled. Carla, you getting this? I asked. Don't you understand, Perlita? Somebody said. Your unarmed, defenseless colony destroyed our ships. This is one screwed up mission. We have to get out of here before anything else goes wrong, another person yelled. Captain, it was supposed to be in and out, and nobody knows we're here. No collateral damage, somebody else said. You heard the message. 60 people. I didn't sign on for colony killing. That's genocide. We'll figure out blame later, somebody said. They can't touch us once we're gone. These men, or their friends, had destroyed the Adisha Char. They had killed Robinson. They had almost killed Ian and Rohan and their crew. They had shot at my love, and he only survived by using his wits. 60 people were dead or missing, including my godfather. They deserved what they got. Carla, Rias, Rafaela broke in. One of the children's suits is missing. I'm suiting up and going outside to look for her. Carla swore. Anybody outside? Keep your eyes open for a little girl. Dalila's trying to get to South Dome to find her brother. No sign of her by the reactor, Manuel said through the comm. I can't spot her, Oswald said from Shuttle 1. This is Rodriguez. I think I saw her a few minutes ago before he went into Central Dome. Dalila, respond, I said. My sister didn't say anything. Could she be hurt? Datapad, locate my sister. Her datapad is still in North Dome Airlock, my datapad said. Rias, that's one of your tricks. She left it behind so we couldn't track her. Don't worry, we'll find her, Carla said. You just focus on the raiders. Anybody object to our new acting administrator playing tag with the bad guys? Rias, acting administrator? Good Lord, Marcial said. He'll either save us or break the colony. It should be fun, Gutierrez said. No objections here. Missiles ready. Then here we go, I said. 2 groups of raiders. The first group contained 2 raiders exiting the tram tunnels from Central Dome, with 2 yellow Nuestran suits in their midst, plus a grav cart carrying the damaged drone of the Adishachar. The second group contained 5 raiders and had passed medical a minute ago, and they met the first group in South Dome Food Court for a total of 7 armed raiders and 2 unarmed people I assumed were the traitors. Each dagger would have a pilot, a co-pilot, and 4 soldiers. Assuming the pilots remained with the daggers and they had 1 man on guard, that meant 9 raiders must be inside Nuestra colony. But I counted only 7. Out of the potential 9 raiders and 3 traitors, where were 2 of the raiders and the 3rd traitor? People are missing from the group of raiders and traitors, I said. Think, Rias, 12 people. They'll need at least 3 ships to pick them up. First things first. I synced into the 6th drone of the Adishachar and made sure I had a copy of the logs and files of the Adishachar and sent another copy back to the Adishachar AI. One way or the other, a copy would survive. The raiders had to use a grav lift to carry the drone. If they only knew their mistake. Through my datapad and the backup comm grid, I controlled all grav lifts. They had arrived in South Dome from Central Dome and were preparing to hike to the busted airlock. They had tried to kill the man I love. Time for revenge. Datapad, jam their communications with a hypersonic scream, I yelled. Through the cameras of a nearby grav lift, the datapad showed the raiders falling to their knees and clutching their helmets. Datapad, take control of the grav lift carrying the drone and get the drone out of there, I yelled. I don't want them getting it. Destination, my datapad said. Rodriguez, I've stolen the drone from the raiders and it's coming your way. Where are you? I said. Inside Central Dome. It's bad in here, people, Rodriguez said. I'm targeting your datapad and pushing the grav lift's grav unit, so it will be to you in minutes, I said. I'll take care of it, he said. All available atmospherists, get to Central Dome. Run. On visual, the grav lift with the drone left, zooming back down the tram tunnel for Central Dome, but the raiders were too busy holding their helmets to notice. A couple stumbled to their feet. Datapad, seize control of their vac suits and make it hard for them to breathe. I don't want them dead. They have to answer for what they have done, I said. 7 suits writhed on the ground, clutching their helmets. One of the black-suited raiders did something to his suit. One of the raiders has disabled his comm unit, my datapad said. That suit went to each other suit and did something on their control board. Rias, stop it, you're killing us, my aunt screamed. Why don't you take a look at what your friends have done to South Dome, Aunt? I said. Datapad, sync with Karina's datapad and find the list of dead or missing. Scroll it across their helmet displays. Make sure it blocks their vision. Affirmative, it said. Ian leaned forward, his datapad held up. He whispered, Datapad, can't you do something to stabilize Rias's inner AI modules? Datapad, I said. I want a map of the South Dome food court and all the grav lifts in the area. Overload their grav units and bring them to South Dome food court, now. A grav lift normally isn't fast, but with overloaded grav units, they were fast. Ram each person and pin them against the wall, I yelled. The grav lifts zipped around, finding targets and pushing them to the nearest wall. To each of the raiders, either you throw down your weapons and surrender, or I crush you, I said. Don't think I won't. You've killed and hurt my friends. You have 5 seconds before I shut your suits off. 5 threw down their weapons. 1 man tried shooting the grav lift. I screamed, Murderer, shut his suit off. The lights on his suit darkened. I waited for him to pass out, then reactivated his suit. "We surrender," came a voice. "Perlita's." I pinned another suit against the wall. "Perlita, your friends killed Hector, and look at the shape the domes are in. As acting administrator, I can crush them with the grav lifts. You too." One by one, I pinned each person against the wall, until only one suit was left. I brought in another grav lift, and another, and backed the person against the wall. "Rias, you can't do that," Perlita yelled. "What are they going to do to me? I can't leave Nuestra, and if my surgery fails, I'm dead. Wait, Dr. Tanaka can fix me. Except he's one of the presumed dead," I said. "Rias, please, have mercy," Perlita said. "Like you showed the Adishachar? Like you did when you almost killed me and the man I love? What was so important that you almost destroyed Nuestra?" I yelled. "Captain, help us. We don't stand a chance," one man screamed. His comm unit opened to the stars. "Swift current. I am Rias Travieso, and given partial authorization by your captain," I said. "Give me a full scan of this area." 3 ships within 2 kilometers are heading to Nuestra, the voice of the swift current said. The datapad triangulated their position. "Send me the image," I said. The current sent an image to my datapad, and my datapad expanded its image to our local area. 3 more daggers descended to the colony, with something big behind them. Their carrier, a Mason Garrett Wade Hades Inferno carrier. Oh crap. It was a lot bigger than its stats suggested. The Raiders' transmission back to their carrier was all I needed to gain entry, and the carrier had responded. Better yet, it was only a light second away. "New AI modules are now coming online," my datapad said. Something sang inside me, filling my body with energy and strength. My new AI modules were finally working as they should have worked yesterday, and they synced with my datapad. "Oh my God, Rias," Ian yelled through the comm, but his voice was automatically shunted to me. Only my ears heard him. "Your readings on my datapad just went optimal. What happened?" "Everything started to work," I said, fighting the warmth in my eyes. The pain had gone. My new marrow was working. A display screen filtered over my retina. I heard the communications directly in my ears. I could give commands to my datapad or my AI modules without speaking. My back didn't hurt. For the first time since my father died, since the Adishachar crashed, since I woke with acute radiation poisoning, I felt alive. No, better than alive. "How come I can hear you and not with the comm?" Ian said. Oh no. I paused and had the datapad do a quick scan. I screwed up again. "You were in the null grav field with me for at least 12 hours. We kissed. Some of the nanite fluid must have passed from me into you. I'm sorry. I infected you." "It can't work like that. It can't change me. We don't have the same DNA," Ian said. "Modifications had to be made," my datapad said. But behind it were the voices of the other AIs. "Your orders were, I wish to be with Rias forever." "What does that mean?" Ian said. "We adapted the nanites to work on Ian Alvarado," the Adishachar said. "What does that mean?" Ian said, but only I and the AI modules heard it. Rias, you went quiet. Are you okay?" Carla said. "The daggers are getting closer." "Ian, I love you, and I'm sorry. We'll figure this out later," I said. I had begun to feel like my old self before the Adishachar had crashed. No, I felt better. My mind was clearer, and I knew what I had to do to protect my home. "Datapad, take control of the nearest dagger and ram their carrier," I said. "The ships are encrypted with a different code than the ships Ian fought," my datapad said. "With all the AI modules linked together, plus the current and the Adishachar, don't tell me they can stand against that," I said. "Encryption broken," my datapad said. "First dagger under our control and adjusting course." I've lost control of my ship, one of the raiders yelled on their comm network. Second dagger under our control and adjusting course, my datapad said. My ship isn't responding, another person said. Third dagger under our control and adjusting course, my datapad said. Captain, how are they doing this? Said a voice from the third dagger. Perlita and Tristan lied about what Bentley-Thwaite could do. They must have given them copies of our tech, the voice said. Perlita screamed, I didn't lie. Bentley-Thwaite can't do this. It's my nephew. He's a genius, and he's doing this somehow. What do you mean? The voice from the carrier said. I tapped into their communication, smiling. Hi, I'm Rias, Perlita's nephew. I'm the acting administrator of Nuestra, and I'm in charge of causing problems. Just ask my aunt. I'm good at it. How did you get into this line? The voice said. Datapad, I said, but not with my voice. Piggyback on the transmission and get into that carrier. Rias, you don't know what's at stake. It's the future of humanity, Perlita said. Guess what, Aunt? I don't care. The carrier and all its ships die today. You might want to evacuate. Enjoy your last 5 seconds of breathing, I said. No, Perlita screamed. I had a dozen or more sublight drones, some missiles, and 3 daggers. The Hades Inferno carrier was in stable orbit above Nuestra. It wasn't moving, a sitting target. I blinked an eye, and my display followed my eye motions as I targeted the Hades Inferno class carrier with everything we had. Datapad, Adi-Shachar, Swift Current, and every AI in the network. Launch all drones, the 3 missiles and the 3 daggers at the carrier. Initiate full grav drive and dodge anything they use to try and shoot them down. Maximum speed. The first dagger hit the carrier, then the second, then the third. Most of the drones hit the carrier as well, but only one of the missiles. The carrier tried to launch its other daggers, but it didn't have a chance. Within seconds, large chunks of the ship were blazing as its atmosphere burned. Another direct transmission came from the carrier, but this one to the people I had trapped. We've taken too much damage. You're on your own. We have to get out of here. Datapad, what can you do with the carrier? I asked. The Hades-class carrier is leaving the vicinity. Comm lines have closed. It is no longer possible to influence it, my datapad said. Alert. A second carrier has entered sensor range, and it is launching ships, the Swift Current said. Another carrier? Carla yelled. Eastdome, Spaceport, find us any more drones and get them ready to launch, immediately. Is it close enough to take over? I yelled. My datapad almost seemed to laugh. It will be in range in 1 minute. It is attempting a communication. This is too easy. As soon as it is in range, open communications. Piggyback into it, I yelled. Adi-Shachar, Swift Current, and any other AI that can help. I want you. A gunshot. A slug impacted the wall near me. Both Ian and I looked up. My helmet display cleared. Emergency. Renegade AI detected. Intruder detected. A second shot. A slug impacted the floor next to me. 3 figures in vac suits had just come from the back of medical. 2 suits were adult-sized. One was yellow, one was black. The third suit was child-sized. For the first time in my life, my mind froze. Karina had said all children from North Dome were accounted for, except one, my sister, Dalila. On my retinal display, I enhanced the image of the face inside the smaller suit. Ian gasped at the same time I did. I guess he had a retinal display as well. A very terrified Dalila was inside the smaller suit. The yellow adult suit opened their faceplate. It was Doc, and he held a weapon aimed at my sister's head. The second carrier just took secondary priority. Rias, you were supposed to be recovering from surgery, but even without the damn datapad, you are still causing problems. Stop what you are doing or I will shoot your sister, Doc said. Then Doc screamed. You don't understand. I have to get off of Nuestra. He flicked Dalila's comm unit on. Rias, I only wanted to make sure you were all right, and I thought Doc was a friend, Dalila screamed. He tapped the gun to her helmet. "Shut up. You are as annoying as your brother," Doc yelled. "It's okay, Delilah," I said. I had my datapad show me her vital signs on my retinal display. Delilah's heart rate and blood pressure were high, but her oxygen levels were good. My sister whimpered. "Don't worry, Delilah." I flashed words on her display. "But I need you to stay quiet and do as I say the instant I tell you." Delilah quieted and nodded. I made sure the video feed went to every datapad and display in Nuestra. "This is Nuestra, gossip capital of the Bentley-Thwaite Arm. News only takes 5 minutes. Juicy news only takes 3. This went out in 1 second. "Doc, threatening a dying man and a little girl? You are a monster," Carla screamed through the comm. "Rias, I've got the drone," Rodriguez yelled through the comm. "Is that Doc?" "Rias, Delilah, don't worry. A bunch of us are on the way," Rafaela said. "Don't worry, I've got Rias, but we're going to need some help," Ian said, helping me to sit up. On my retinal display, his message read, "Keep Doc talking until the others get here, or we get an opening to take him down." "Everybody can see us," Doc yelled, and lowered the gun. "This is Nuestra," I said. "It doesn't matter. The trams don't work. By the time anybody gets here, I'll be gone. Let me be clear," Doc said, his voice becoming high-pitched and his eyes darted around the room. "We want the drone back and safe passage off this rock. I didn't mean to, but for what I've done, this is my only chance to live." "What have you done, Doc?" Ian said, wrapping an arm around me. He rubbed his eyes and blinked. Rowan and Carruthers entered the room, but they stopped as they saw Doc and the raider behind him. Doc lowered his gun a little and stared at us, eyes wide and pleading. "You have to understand, it wasn't my fault. It was so simple in the beginning. A raider needed medical help. Perlita arranged for him to be brought to medical, and I'd get reimbursed for my time. Then others came. I'm a doctor. I had to help them. Nobody got hurt, and they were gone before anyone knew. Perlita promised that when she and Tristan left, they'd take me. Then she and Tristan were captured. Last night, I used some codes Tristan had given me, and I shut down Madre so we could escape. But most of the programs Tristan had set up were gone. Madre overloaded and burned and died. With Madre dead, the fire-suppressing systems failed and the fire spread. I heard on the comm 60 people are dead or missing, but it's not my fault. I didn't know Emilio had ordered Madre wiped clean. I didn't know most of the codes wouldn't work. I didn't know. I didn't know the raiders couldn't get in the airlock. I thought they had other ways. It's not my fault they used explosives. I'm innocent, don't you see? It's not my fault. Emilio won't understand. He will invoke administrator privilege and have me killed, and if he won't, corporate will. But he's dead. All the people in CNC died, so I have a chance to escape. We all can. Tristan, Perlita, all the raiders. Just let us leave and we'll never bother you again. You understand, right? I kept you from dying. And Ian, I helped bring Tanaka here, and he did the surgery. You owe me, Doc said, pointing the gun back at my sister's helmet. You will do what I say, and let us leave. I took a deep breath as something cold settled in my stomach. Emilio, my godfather, Delilah's godfather, was dead. He had been my last relative. The last time I had seen Emilio, he had yelled at me for burning out the renegade AI module in South Dome Airlock. I knew he wanted to keep it and see what information he could get out of it, but I went ahead and burned it out. Maybe if we could have sat down and had a beer, we could have worked it out. I'd never had a chance to apologize because the surgery happened so soon after. He had been so angry with me. Ian squeezed my shoulders. He must have had an idea of what was going on inside me. I stood, clenching my fist. Part of me had trouble believing it had been Doc. I felt betrayed, angry. I didn't know what emotions I was feeling. Doc wouldn't do this, would he? He wouldn't kill all those people. He was a doctor, a friend. He saved my life. But Doc had been responsible for the fire in Central Dome. He just said so. He had worked with Perlita. Suddenly, the answer to one question meant more to me than even all the potential deaths in South Dome and Central Dome. It meant more to me than the death of Emilio, my godfather. If Emilio was alive, He would have answered by now. He was dead, killed by what Doc had done to Madre. But I had to know the answer. Ian stood next to me, and on my retinal display came his message. I'm with you. Doc, when did you know that Perlita ordered the destruction of the Adi-Shachar? I screamed. Ian almost died. Robinson did. I did. Twice. Remember? 10 other people almost died. If Eden hadn't been as good a pilot as he was, Nuestra would be a cold ruin. I think the answer is important. When did you know? The man in the black vac suit pulled his gun out. He could shoot me, but I had to have the answer. Doc shifted from foot to foot. That's not important. I have to get out of here. I took a breath and calmed myself. Datapad, analyze Doc's voice. Tell me if he lies. Did you know before or after Perlita gave the order? I will know if you lie. Doc stopped moving, and his gun lowered a little. When he looked at me, it was as if he didn't see me. Tell me, I said. Doc swallowed. The gun shook in his hand. Very well. I don't know what good it will do you. Perlita consulted both me and Tristan, and we agreed with her. We didn't expect the Adi-Shachar to come back here. It was supposed to be another ship lost in jump space or regular space. You have to believe me, we didn't think it could escape the daggers or almost destroy us. Datapad, take control of the monitor and show us the logs of the Adi-Shachar. Specifically the part I've marked, Ian said. Tell me, Doc, why was this important enough to kill people? Remember, everybody is watching, and we'll know if you lie. Next session, the final chapter. I had better start writing because even I don't know what's going to happen. Why do I do this to myself? Because it's fun. Peace.